Good morning, folks. Welcome to North Coast Coffee Chats. I'm Loan Coach Kelly with One Trust Home Loans and my partner here today,
David West, your solar best. We
are bringing you today episode number 32 of North Coast Coffee Chats. Let's get that right. So how did North Coast Coffee Chats come to be? Well, everybody that is on our program is a part of North Coast Networking Group. We are a business entrepreneur spirited networking group. We meet up every Thursday morning from 7:15 to 8:30. And we introduce each other. We create referral partnerships and try to help each other grow our business. So North Coast Coffee Chats kind of spun off from that in a way that we could get to know our members a little bit more in depth and get to understand their business and get to understand who they are. And so today we have one of our newest members and I believe our youngest member of the chapter, Ian Brown. Welcome, Ian.
Sweet. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, bud. Glad to have you on board and glad to have the opportunity to also put some business in your lap also so far.
That'd be great.
So Ian is a window cleaner and a solar panel cleaner and gutter cleaning.
Gutter cleaning, yep.
Basically, if you need anything on the exterior of your house cleaned, Ian, his business just kicked off at Horizon Shine. So, Dave, let's dive in and get to know Ian and his business a little bit.
Sounds good. Well, before we get to the business, I think it's always useful for our audience to know more about you specifically.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about where you came from, how'd you end up in North County, San Diego?
Yeah.
And then ultimately what led to your path of quitting the last job and starting Horizon Shine.
Sure. Yeah. So, kind of born and raised San Diego.
All right.
Kind of a brat. So, never really had to worry about seasons.
Yep.
But where I was at probably about a year ago was I was at Tesla as a service advisor, and I was part of that big layoff. Unfortunately, a day before my year, they locked me out of my computer, and that's how I found out.
Oh.
So it was pretty tough, having given that company, dedicating yourself to a company, giving it 110%, and then just kind of having that as a slap in the face. So it really made me think about how I would rather become my own boss and, work for myself and put the effort into myself, right? Yep. So that's really kind of where it started. I really didn't start the business till late last year, in November. And then I was working at Toyota for a while. That was my last job. But before that, I was at this place called Ride Now in Vista. They sell like power sports equipment. So any kind of dirt bikes, they got it. But funny enough, I met Mark there. He was the one who really said, hey, you should join this group. It would be great for you. So I met him there. We really kind of kicked off a relationship and then just kind of helped him do jobs, whatnot. And then he said, hey, dude, with all your window washing stuff, you should just join this group. It's going to help you a ton. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
There you go.
And to clarify, it's Mark Dumais, who is
Dumais.
a Power Wash MD, another member of our group who we've had on the show. So,
yep.
Out of curiosity, why did you choose window washing and solar panel cleaning and exterior washing over anything else?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really have that many skills outside of automotive. That's really my main background is automotive. Took a lot of classes in college, rebuilt the engine for my own car. It was a lot of work, but it taught me a lot of not just only how to work on cars, but just forging ahead, working hard and seeing the fruits of my labor. Yeah.
So you're pretty inclined mechanically.
And I just think when I was at Tesla, I was a detailer.
Okay.
So I think that really played into the work that I do now with just being detail oriented and just overall enjoying the work. Being able to work with the customer and, see the final result, I think is 90% of the joy, really, is just building a relationship with the customer, delivering a great product, and it just kind of blossoming.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about, being an entrepreneur is to watch the fruits of your labor come to fruition. You know, in a corporate job, a lot of times you don't have that luxury. You don't have
Right.
you have a task, you have a role, you have a job, you do your job. Usually that job is somewhat unmeaningful in many
Right.
ways.
Thankless. It's thankless.
And,
Yeah.
and like you said, you gave 110% of your heart and soul to Tesla
Yeah.
to be laid off one day before your 1 year anniversary. And it's like,
Right.
that's kind of like, oh geez, smack in the face, just, you know, so much for everything I thought I was doing good for you.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think that's where a lot of entrepreneur spirited people finally get to that motivation step to break out of the mold of just being a jobber. Like,
Right.
you know, I don't
Right.
just want to have a job. I want to have a career. What do I want to have a career? And I want to have a career in something that I feel good about, something that I feel like I can achieve success at.
Yeah, exactly.
And that I feel rewarded after I do my job every day.
Right.
And so it sounds like you're starting to kind of fall into that. And, you know, as you mentioned, you've only started this in November. So
Right.
here we are in February. So you're really 4 months into your business.
Yeah.
And you're already seeing some success.
Yeah. It's definitely, I mean, especially with your company, Top Tier, you guys have given me some good work to do. Just being in the group, it's really helped me kind of branch out and meet more people, which is, I think, 90% of growing your business.
Yeah.
You know, not just doing the work is only half of the job, you know, and meeting the people and being, not selling a product, but selling yourself is really what you're doing. And people got to like you.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, you know, that's kind of the spirit of NCNG too, right?
Right.
Like, you know, I kind of mentioned as you're one of the younger members of our group. Dave was at one point one of the younger members of our group, and you still are. But, you know, you still, when you join a group like this, like, you know, as Rob with Max Lux Media mentioned to me this morning, who's our host, Max Lux, quick plug, shout out, our host. You know, Rob mentioned to me he's 50 years old. I'm going to be 49 in a month.
Yeah.
Like there's people in our group who are, you know, over 50, pushing 60, who have lived corporate America careers, who have
Right.
retired from corporate America careers to shift gears to becoming entrepreneurs. David Jones, another member of our group who was on our podcast a couple episodes ago. You know, you really walk into almost a mentorship group, right?
That's that's what it feels like. That they really
we're
have your
here
back.
to work together with everybody in the group to help you grow your business. And sometimes helping you grow your business isn't always just opening up doors to referrals.
Right.
Sometimes it's, hey, let's go grab lunch and let me give you a couple of tips. Let me show you how you can grow to the next level. Let me help
Right.
you business strategize getting from point A to point C. Because maybe you're like, dude, I got to point A, now what? Now where do I go from there? And
Yeah.
so I think NCNG has built a pretty good reputation as an organization to help people like you grow your business. And I think
Yeah.
Mark was pretty sharp in giving you that nudge of confidence to
Yeah.
come check it out. So,
Absolutely.
What do you think's been like the biggest challenge so far of starting your business and now seeing it prosper over the last 4 months?
I mean, I think the hardest part is just getting out there, putting yourself out there. It's kind of nerve-wracking, to be honest with you. If you're not used to, you know, knocking doors and just meeting new people all the time, it is a little bit nerve-wracking. And then I think just getting consistent work off the bat is a little tough.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's only the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, we're slinging cold calls like Kelly did back in his day. It still does.
Yeah, I mean, you know, talk about knocking on doors. I mean, this guy's probably knocked on more doors than most people in the state.
Unfortunately.
So it's you're talking right here with two dudes who know what it's like to grind to find opportunity. And,
Yeah.
and that's really what it is as an entrepreneur. Like, you can be good at your job and doing the task,
Right.
but you've got to get the opportunity to do the task.
That's half. Yeah, that's the half of it.
That's the hardest part of the struggle with that, is just finding that drive and motivation every day to be like, okay, I'm out here. Got to find a job. Got
Yeah.
to find work to do today.
It definitely takes grit.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
also like forecasting down the future too. Just like, hey, you got the first 4 months out of the way, but then it's like, okay, what is the first year that I want? What is the first 5 years that I want
Yeah.
in the business? I think it can be very overwhelming as we get into our own business to just get, caught up in the day-to-day tasks.
Right.
And,
Lose the bigger picture.
Yeah, like the
Right.
E-Myth is a very popular book that talks about this all the time, where it's like you start working in your business instead of on your business, and then you just get caught up in the day-to-day, and you kind of forget that you actually have to take care of everything else to grow it.
Right.
And get to a place that you want to be in the next 5 years. Which you mentioned is you eventually want to add other trucks or crew members and
Right.
all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what do you, what else do you plan to do with your business over the next year to 5 years?
I mean, I think in a year from now, I was really hoping to have a second truck, maybe a little Ranger or something, and that we can load up all the window equipment into. Just have a guy, helper. Yeah, I mean, just kind of trying to set a realistic expectation for myself, just because I don't want to really underestimate the process, just because I know I'm learning how much of a grind it is. And I don't want to be disappointed and then lose my fire, So trying to set a realistic expectation for myself of, hey, maybe have a second truck in the next year or two and a helper.
Good.
Yeah.
I think if you dissect your business from such an infancy of it right now,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I've got the vehicle, I've got this networking group, I've invested in my equipment, I need to get so many jobs a day, so many jobs a week, so many jobs a month to create X value to my business. And if you start to dissect that per job and you start to think about, okay, how many jobs do I need to get to X?
Right.
Then it becomes a pretty simple equation of just a matter of finding those opportunities. But then you see, okay, what am I doing to find opportunities? Am I actively finding opportunities? Am I seeking opportunities? Or am I waiting for opportunities to come to me?
Yeah.
And then you got to look at the various verticals of how do you get that business to come to you.
Yeah.
Right? That's where businesses start to take off and really hit that launch pad of trajectory, is when you stop having to go find the work and the work starts to find you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I was talking to a gentleman in my neighborhood, what was it, two days ago. He does screen repair on homes. And he said he's been doing it for about 5 years. And he said after a while, just word of mouth takes over. You don't even have to do ads anymore. And that's where I hope to be in about 5 years. Just word of mouth is doing the legwork.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're already getting there.
But he said in the beginning, you got to pay to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the grunt work. You have to grind for the first huge portion of your career. And then actually all of that work pays off in the long term. You just actually have to put your head down and keep with it, kind of what Kelly's saying.
Yeah.
But more on the more technical side, for people who are thinking about, hey, man, my window kind of looks like it's a tinted window right now, and it probably shouldn't look that way.
Right.
Or, they've got solar panels that seem to be underperforming. How do you differentiate yourself in that process when you go and clean?
I mean, it is a little bit of a saturated market. You're asking how I set myself apart?
Both that and both your
Maybe your process.
Your process.
I mean, the process is somewhat standardized, so there's really not a whole lot of way to say that your process is better than somebody else's.
Got it.
I mean, you can have better equipment, but that really just helps you get it done faster, more efficient. But I guess for somebody who is just getting into solar panel cleaning, and they don't know what they're doing, you can use the wrong tools, like say a pressure washer or a mop and a squeegee. You could use that, but you're gonna be up there for hours. The process that I use is filtered water through an RO membrane, and then a DI. It's called a DI cart, essentially. So it's a big filtration system, probably almost as long as this table. And then it filters that water down to 0 parts per million. And then you take this water-fed brush. I can extend it out to about 50 feet, so you can reach pretty high windows and whatnot. So you can use it for windows and solar. But you just get up on top of the roof, scrub it real good, rinse it. And then what I like to do is, a lot of people, I thought of something. So what people will do is they'll get down and they'll leave it wet. What I like to do is I like to wait for it to dry, because sometimes you'll miss things. That's just how it goes. And I like to redo it until it's spotless, or as good as I can get it.
I think that's really important, because someone that's, they want their windows cleaned.
Right.
They want them clean. They don't want them, well, it's like 95%,
Right.
It's good enough.
Yeah. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to give a 95%. It's 100, 110.
Yeah, and then how should someone know if they should get their windows cleaned, and why should they do it? That's the big question, because a lot of people will let them sit there and they're like, it's fine, because they don't care about the aesthetics, but what are the other reasons that people should get their windows cleaned?
I think the windows are a bigger part of the home than what people, some really would like to think. It's what allows natural light into the home, really gives it a homey space feel. If your windows look gross, you're gonna look out of them and you're gonna be like, man, I don't know how I feel about my house, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you don't really understand the difference that it makes until you've had it done professionally, because you think, oh man, my windows are just dirty. Oh well, right? But when you have it done, it's like a new home, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a game changer. I mean, fortunately for me, unfortunate for you, at my house, all of my windows are removable. So they're double paned, and I can just lift them and pull them out, so I can hand wash all the windows in my house. But not every house has that. So
Yeah.
And I've got one wall in my master bedroom that literally is on the backside, but it seems to be the dirtiest window of the house constantly. And it's like I look out of it, and this is my wife's office.
Yeah.
So like I look out this window in my master bedroom, and I'm like, Jesus, how did this thing get so filthy? And it's like, pull the thing off the track and wash it out for 5 minutes. But we see it all the time in some of my rental properties. I've got a tenant who lives in a house, and they've been there for 7 years, and they've got
And it's never been done.
They've got 8 windows upstairs, and not one of them has ever been cleaned. And like, there's
Wow.
just thick
It's on
dirt
thick, yeah.
and cobwebs and everything all over these things.
Yeah.
And you can't really clean it. Like, an average homeowner doesn't have the capability of cleaning that window.
Exactly,
Like,
and that's where the specialized equipment comes in.
Yeah.
You say if the customer doesn't want to get on their roof to clean the outside of the window, I can be on the ground with the water fed pole and do the whole thing from there safely.
Yeah.
So let's back up. So we've gotten to, you started working in the automotive, got into washing cars, got into starting your business. Mm-hmm. Did you feel like as a kid, did you have like an entrepreneur spirit? Did you like ever have anything that you were trying to accomplish as a kid that maybe you look back on now and go, you know what, maybe I kind of was destined to do something for myself?
I think definitely in high school, I kind of sadly had a mentality where I thought I knew better than people, but I think that somewhat led me to this, not wanting to just sit at a job and work a job, right? Thinking to myself, I can think of something better to do. And I think I kind of finally forced myself to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think an entrepreneur spirit is usually within the individual, and you don't know it until something in life happens and it clicks that you're like, I want that, and I'm gonna get that no matter what anybody tells me, and I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna figure it out better or faster or more productively or more profitably than the next guy can.
Right.
And then that's when the hard work sets in. Like, you can set the mindset in place, you can set the wheels in motion, but then the grind starts.
Right.
And a lot of people find they don't have the grind power. Like, that's what kills most entrepreneur spirited businesses, is they just don't realize how much you have to grind to be successful.
Yeah.
And so, just as an advice to you, like, don't think short runway.
Yeah.
Think long runway. Think growth. Think how can I get my business to be the number one in San Diego County? How can I get there, and how fast can I get it there? And think about all of the steps in the process that you went through from starting to today. and then just know those steps like the back of your hand, because they're not going to change. Like you're just going to have to take those same steps and then just expand them to a bigger, broader perspective.
Right.
So
And scaling.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting part of being an entrepreneur too, which is, as you're probably discovering, finding the time to also balance the grind with the rest of life.
Yeah.
It's really easy when we're young and we're single, and we don't have
kids.
We don't have kids. The two of us, it's like being an entrepreneur is very, I'd say, easy compared to, Kelly or Rob, who's got family and wife to take care of and
more bills and responsibility,
house, mortgage. It's very different. So then, what are you discovering? Are you feeling that you have to cut anything out of your life, or are you feeling that you're prioritizing more things? Like, what have you noticed that's changed in your life outside of being an entrepreneur since you started this process?
I definitely think that going out to play has definitely changed a little bit. The way I spend my money, I'm not really thinking about, what's the next new toy I'm going to get? I think about what's the next piece of equipment I need. How can I be spending my money wisely on marketing? Or how can I be spending my time more wisely to just do something logistics for the business to where I can be more efficient? For example, real small, but the other day on my filtration system, I added a small valve on the bottom. So when you hook it up to the spigot, all the water goes through, right? But the wastewater has to come out the back. There's usually a cap that I would have to unscrew, a brass cap. And I thought to myself, that's inefficient. Why unscrew that every time? Why not just get a valve that I can turn? So I did that. And it's just little things like that you kind of start to think about and almost obsess over.
Yeah.
Of efficiency and, bless you.
Sure.
What can I be doing to benefit myself in the long run? What can I sacrifice now? And I think a lot of the sacrifices that I've made are just having an easy job. A lot of people, they like having an easy job, and that works for some people, but I don't think I can be long-term happy sitting at a desk in a room for the next, 40 years.
Yeah.
So
scary.
I don't think that that's what I wanted to do. And I think that if I put in the work now, I can be able to enjoy life and retire early, maybe, if I get lucky, have somebody else run the business.
Yeah, that's traditionally, the vision of an entrepreneur is build a sustainable business that somebody else can take over and operate and run for me, and I sit back and collect a paycheck and run my company from the desk, and I'm not
from the house while I'm sipping my coffee
all day, right?
Yeah.
Well, one thing I could say, as an entrepreneur for you as advice maybe is, like Dave said, what are you starting to cut out of your personal life? And maybe as you look at your budget and how much do you need to live on and how much are you earning, the investment back into your business at an early infancy stage is going to be very, very powerful for you.
Right.
And finding the most opportunistic ways to reinvest into your business to create more opportunities will grow you faster and will grow you more profitably. And I think the decision you made to join NC&G is a very affordable way to invest back into your business.
Absolutely.
And that will open doors like you never believe.
Yeah.
And so then now you go, okay, great. I've got this one channel that I've invested into. It's creating me X amount of opportunities. How can I parlay that? How can I take that and move it to the next investment category?
Right. Absolutely.
And like Mark does, and I don't know if you've started doing this, but every house you're out washing, are you putting signage in the front yard while you're there?
Yep.
Perfect.
You have to.
You have to. Yeah, you gotta show your brand. Your brand has to be relevant.
Exactly.
While you're on the job.
Absolutely.
You're there for, I think you said you had like a 10-hour window job, something like that?
It took about 2 days. It was, I think, about 18 hours.
18 hours, okay.
Actually working. Yeah.
Whew.
That's not one day. That's not one day. That's between 2 days. But
yeah. But So tell us and our audience, like, That's an extensive job. Like, what was this? Was this a building? Was this a property?
This was a big horse property out in Bonsall.
Okay.
So it was part of an estate. It needed a lot of cleaning up. I think what happened was, I think somebody might have passed away. Don't quote me on it, but what happened was there was a lot of deferred maintenance on the house. A lot of pressure washing went into it. I think it took Mark about 6 days to do all the pressure washing on the house. So it's a very big home.
Okay.
It was definitely more of like an interesting home, because when he sent me the photos, hey, I just landed this job. Look at all the pressure washing that needs to be done. I was like, oh, sweet, dude, it's a church? And he was like, no, it's a home. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I ended up helping him with a little bit of the power washing on the house. And it was a grind. The house has a half wall, about yay high, going all the way around one part of it. And you had to get like right up on it with the gun. I don't think I've seen any lichen that stubborn. It was like baked on. But, fast forward, we finished the job, and he was like, hey, get me a bid on the windows, because the real estate agent, is looking to have them cleaned. And she knows that our work is good, and she's going to trust what I have to say. I was like, sweet. So I get him a bid. We included a few windows just because they were about that narrow. So there's no sense in counting them, but it was about 222 windows without those included. That's interior, exterior. So I think I covered about 108 myself interior in one day. And then the second day, it took a lot more elbow grease, especially for the windows that had like years of hard water spots. You would think that it was frosted glass. So we had to start out by taking the razor blades and scraping it off. And it was coming off, you would have thought it was like sugar. So then what we did is we took what's called Works. It's like a toilet cleaner.
Okay.
And then you just apply it for about 30 seconds and then rinse it off. I think the one window that I showed you guys on the presentation, I think that took 6 treatments.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was on there pretty good. But yeah, I think that is probably one of the biggest jobs I've had to date, and definitely one of the harder ones, because some of the windows were just so awkward to do. On a couple of 2 parts of the house, the master bathroom, the shower, there's 2 windows right up against each other like this at a 90. No frame, nothing. It looked pretty futuristic. It was cool, but cleaning them wasn't. It was hard. So cleaning them inside wasn't too rough, but on the outside, you've got the window like this, and then the roof is super steep right here. So I had to get up there with the ladder with the water-fed brush, and it was just super awkward trying to reach that. But it was the safest way to do it. So sometimes you just kind of got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then another window, inside the house, right above the fireplace. They were way up there. You had to get up on the ladder and stand on the drywall. It was ridiculous.
The things you don't know until you have to know.
Exactly, yeah. You just kind of figure it out.
Yeah. Well, honestly, audience, who can say you love washing your windows?
I love washing your windows.
I hope Bill Gates
This guy
appreciates all the hard work you did on his house.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, you're in Del Mar. You got a guy right here. I know you got more than 200 windows in that house.
It's probably got like 500.
Yeah. So, moving forward, as you know, we're here to support you.
Absolutely. You guys are my cheerleaders.
Top tier is going to definitely provide you opportunities and want to see you grow your business and have success.
Absolutely.
What other ways can members of NC&G try to help support you to grow your business? What other things are you looking for as a young entrepreneur that members of our group can possibly help you with?
I think, like you were saying, like you were giving me advice. just on things from your own experience. I think it's not necessarily always about the referrals, It's about what I can offer the group too, offering, a great service. And then just having people who are kind of just there for you, I think that's really a big part of why I joined, is because the people in the group, they're just so easy to approach, and it feels like everybody's just kind of a family member, right? But they're like a cheerleader to you,
Yeah.
If they like your work, then they're gonna vouch for you. And word of mouth, I think, is the strongest type of way to get out there.
Yeah. It's really about doing your job and doing your job well.
Right.
And when
And
you
being
do
likable.
your job well and you're easy to work with, people are easy to share your information with others that way.
Right.
That'll be your biggest catalyst to growth, is just doing the job that you're hired to do and doing it very well, and having people, get your social media up, get your your review pages dialed in. Like,
Yeah.
you got to get people to give you reviews. People need to be able to hear about good work that you've done.
Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely get with Richard, get with
Yeah.
Rob, like get with all the members that you can, that can provide you with a support to help you grow
Yeah.
your perspective of doing your job, right? Like,
Right.
have a great job, hire Rob to come out and shoot some video content of you doing your job, right?
Yeah.
Like, just work with the members in the group. They'll support you, and you can support them in return.
Right. By giving them the business.
By giving
as
them
well.
the business. Yeah. Make it a reciprocal opportunity, and you'll find that will catapult you pretty quickly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's one of the best things too about being in a group like NCNG, is that when you're an entrepreneur, you've got all these other things to worry about. When you're just working a job, you get up, you go to work, you come home, that's it. When you're an entrepreneur, you need somebody that understands taxes, somebody that knows how to write contracts, a bookkeeper, somebody that can do marketing for you, and all this stuff to support your business. And we have all those services within our group.
Yep.
And like Ian said, sometimes maybe you don't need a bookkeeper, maybe you just need some advice on how to pay somebody with payroll or something. So,
Yeah.
that's part of what NCG is all about. Because just because you have that entrepreneur spirit doesn't mean you're going to be successful. It's hard.
Yeah.
And you need a lot of support.
Yeah, I looking back, NCNG is a little more than 8 years old. We're creeping up on 8.5 years old as an organization, as a group.
Yeah.
And I look back on a couple of members, just as an example of what I believe have achieved great success through the development of their entrepreneurship in our business. And one of them is Patty Jones. I mean, when Patty Jones first joined NCNG, she was trying to furnish corporate buildings with interior plants. Like, that was where she started her business, was like bringing plants and greenery into buildings and having a service that would come by every week and clean them and water them and service them.
Prune 'em.
And now she's building $100,000 backyards. Like, I mean, she just completely transformed her business. Not to say NCNG was the catalyst that did that, but the amount of doors that opened up and the entrepreneur spirit that she grew out of the NCNG network was was massive. Patrick Zepeda taking over a dry carpet cleaning business and now doing very, very well for himself, building his career. Eric Anderson, Handyman Co., building his business on the heels of NCNG. Like,
It's almost like solely just NCNG work. It's great.
yeah, like,
It's awesome.
It's really rewarding to be a part of such a tight-knit group of people that are here to support you. And certainly we welcome you in Horizon Shine. For those of you out there, again, Horizon Shine, window washing, pressure washing, solar panel cleaning,
Gutter cleaning.
gutter cleaning. So we all need it. You've got windows, you've got rain gutters, you've got solar panels. You need to look for Horizon Shine out there in the field and get him engaged with a regular service, whether it's twice a year or once a year.
Absolutely.
Those things should be constantly serviced.
Yeah, and how can people find you
So-
and reach out to you?
So they can give me a call, text me. I'm always easy to reach.
What's your number?
Phone number 619-636-7492. And then you can look me up on Nextdoor. I have a pretty good following on there. A lot of cheerleaders rooting for me. And then you can check out my Instagram, horizon_shine_exterior cleaning. And then I've got some of my work on there as well.
Nice.
Do you have a website as well?
Yeah, hsecleaning.com.
Easy enough.
HSEcleaning.com. There you go. Nice and easy. Abbreviations down.
Exactly. Make it easy.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, shout out to MaxLux Media. Rob, always hostess with the mostest. Thank you for having this great podcast studio for us.
Yeah.
And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, Ian, pleasure to get to know a little bit more about you.
Absolutely.
Certainly look forward to the opportunity to continue working together and growing you and your business. And to anybody out there who's catching this podcast, again, we are North Coast Networking Group. Look us up on the web, northcoastnetworkinggroup.com. You can find us on social media also, NCNG, on Instagram and Facebook. We are currently about 32 members large. We meet Thursday mornings at Beach Plum Kitchen in Carlsbad. And if you're an entrepreneur looking to grow your business in 2025, this is a place to come check out. 32 members is kind of like having 32 built-in employees. We're all here to help you grow your business. So the more word of mouth you need, NCNG is a place to help you grow that. So that's a wrap on episode 32. 32. Ian, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Here's to your success. Look forward to working together.